What is up, everybody? Welcome on into another stream, another show. It is Monday, January 20th. Can you believe it? A lot of stuff going on today. Look, I'm gonna try to do a shorter stream today. All the streams lately have been really long, and definitely haven't been doing a bunch of short streams. But today, we're probably going to do a shorter stream. Couple of different things going on. Number one, it is Martin Luther King Day, so it's a holiday. So why am I here? A lot of you guys have the day off. Why didn't I get the day off? This is bullshit. Number two, it is the day of the inauguration. And a lot of people are going to watch that. You know, some of them are going to watch it like NASCAR to see if any of the cars crash and burn. Some of them are going to watch it to celebrate. So that's a thing that will be happening very soon. Also, number three, it's very cold in here. Maybe you notice I'm wearing a coat and a hoodie. I also have a blanket over my legs because it's freezing cold in here. So today, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it quick. Nice and easy. In and out. And we do actually have some epic shit to talk about today, man. We really do. We really do. So, we have Daredevil Born Again news. Season 2 shooting way faster than we thought. A lot of things I want to say about that. I think that's pretty dope. We have a big story about Hugh Jackman Wolverine, a long-standing rumor about Hugh Jackman Wolverine in the MCU and Kevin Feige and all of that, and it got confirmed. We're going to talk about it. We have updates about Captain America Brave New World. The box office predictions, they seem okay. We'll talk about it. And then also Annihilus, potentially the big bad of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe after Secret Wars. What? We got to talk about that as well. Now, before we get into any and every of all of those news, the words that come out of my mouth parts, how are you guys doing? How was the weekend for you? I will say I had a fantastic weekend, mostly because I got to play Warhammer. Oh, man. Any weekend where I get to slip away and play some Warhammer, I'm going to have a good time. So that's pretty cool. Also, appreciate everybody on Friday. We just ended up playing Marvel Rivals. And that was a fun stream, even though it got broke up into two parts. That was a fun stream. And I will have you know, chat, that I did get gold rank. I did hit gold rank. And the next one's what, diamond and then plat or something like that. So I'm going to be grinding still because I want to try to get even higher rank than gold. I feel like I'm in a good flow with the game. So I appreciate everybody that stopped by and cheered me on or clowned me or whatever for the stream on Friday. Thank you very much. Also, an incredible UFC card. Great fights, man. Two of the best fights I've ever seen happen on that card Saturday night. That was epic. A lot of cool football games, some surprising upsets. Sorry to you Lion fans, etc., etc. And then, yeah, there's, of course, you know, something absurd that we all lived through. We should all be really proud of ourselves. We all survived the great TikTok banning of 2025. You know, that was a very tough 12 to 15 hours for everybody. I know a lot of job applications were filled out. A lot of panic, a lot of worry, concern. I saw TikTok dancers on the corner. You know, normally it's just bums. There were TikTok dancers trying to, you know, get a couple bucks to do some weird choreographed thing. It was really cringe or whatever. But look, we all survived. You survived. I survived. We all survived the great TikTok banning of 2025. And so, of course, it was a really busy weekend in a lot of ways. And I'm glad that we all made it through. And I'm sure nothing bad or controversial will be happening anytime soon. I think it's easy going from here. Guys, you know, it's like coming off of a big mountain, or you're on a bike ride and you got to ride up a mountain. We're coasting down now, because that obviously was the roughest shit that we've ever had to deal with, at least in modern memory. I can't really think of anything worse. So I had a good weekend. I hope that you had a good weekend as well. As far as show notes, this week, we're going to have a members only stream on Wednesday night. And I wanted to do like a commentary / watch party. We still have to decide what movie or show we're going to watch on Wednesday. I would like to, and I don't know if you guys will be down with this or not, but I'm kind of feeling the old Captain America movie. It just got put on Amazon recently. So you can rent the very, very old Captain America movie on Amazon Prime. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be a fun one. But there are a lot of other shows and movies that we could watch. So if you want to, guys, why don't you throw some ideas into the chat? Also, throw some ideas into the Discord. That's probably the best way to kind of aggregate everybody's thoughts. And we just need to figure something out by Wednesday night, or I'll just pull something nerdy and we'll watch it that way, okay? So that's what's going on. We will have a Diamond Lounge this Friday as well. Can we push that from last week? By the way, I am feeling much better. I needed to kind of just take a break on Friday and into Saturday, just to kind of get my mental back and be feeling in a good flow. And I feel much, much better now. So thank you guys for being patient with me as we figured that out. Okay, let's get right into the news, man. Like I said, we're doing a quick one today, man. In and out. Check this out right here. This one's pretty crazy. I'm quite excited about this. So this came out from Charlie Cox, but it does corroborate some other reports and things that were out there in the rumor mill. Charlie Cox himself said that Daredevil Born Again Season 2 will begin filming before the series premieres on March 4th. This is an insanely awesome bit of information here. It has some ramifications, and so I want to talk about this because this is, number one, a big sign of how much energy, effort, and just resources Marvel's putting into Daredevil Born Again, but it also indicates how well this show could end up performing for them, and I do anticipate this show to be one of the biggest things they have ever done, okay? So we live in a world right now where a lot of mainstream television and even some of the most popular television that is out there is plagued by really long, arduous breaks in between seasons. I mean, pick your favorite show. When's the last season? You know, I'm still not sure when the last season of Stranger Things was. I feel like it's been 3 to 4 years. Invincible had like a 2.5-year break between its first and second season. The Boys feels like it even has long breaks. I'm not sure how long, but it feels like it's long. You know, even big shows like House of the Dragon, we had to wait 2 years for the second season. We might have to wait 2 more years for the other one. So the current state of entertainment is sort of plagued by these long waits in between seasons, probably just due to like production, visual effects and stuff like that, right? So that's number one. That's pretty cool that they're going to be able to turn this around. But this also would be the fastest Marvel turnaround in maybe a decade. I mean, Shang-Chi was like 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, dude, Marvel itself has an even bigger problem than most of the rest of the entertainment industry right now. As I said, right? Everybody's dealing with delays. Marvel's dealing with like some of the craziest delays we've ever heard. Like, when was Eternals? When was Eternals? Was it 2020? 5 years later, we're finally about to see, with Captain America Brave New World, we're finally about to see Tiamat Island and that have an effect on the canon. So this is probably the fastest turnaround of a sequel or consistent Marvel content maybe in the last decade, maybe in the last 15 years. So massive. Now, part of why they were able to do this, I think, is because the original version of season 1 was supposed to be very lengthy. I think it was going to be 18 or 19 episodes. And after the creative retooling, they have chopped that down quite a bit. So I believe the first season is 9. And so what they were likely able to do is take a lot of the structure from their initial plans and break that into 2 seasons. I would assume there's a lot of like writing and changes that had to happen, but because they came in and like retooled everything, it probably gave them a path forward on how to retool the other half of that season. Some of the elements of Daredevil Born Again, like the fact that Fisk is going to be mayor, that was always going to be in the show, right? So there's basic structure that will remain. And I think a lot of that stuff comes from what was initially 1 season and is now being broken into 2 separate seasons, which is really cool. Now, I think this is such a big deal because, you know, as we've talked about a lot in the last week and a half, Daredevil Born Again feels like a revitalization of Marvel. I'm personally amazed at how many people that have been super critical of Marvel over the past 4 to 5 years are excited about the trailer, you know? And even if it's just people saying like, wow, this trailer actually looks incredible, don't mess it up, that is still way more positive than a lot of like that side of the fandom has been in, again, half a decade. So it seems like everybody's primed to watch Daredevil Born Again and be very excited about it. You know, a return to form. I went on, I think it was last week I went on to say this. The more I thought about what the reaction was like, where fandom is currently at, I personally predict Daredevil Born Again to be the biggest thing Marvel has ever produced for streaming, and potentially the biggest thing that Disney Plus has ever hosted for streaming, right? So when we talk about some of the biggest shows out right now, the biggest shows in the world, you know, House of the Dragon, Fallout, Last of Us, like absolutely earth-shatteringly big shows. The Boys is another example. Disney Plus really doesn't touch those numbers. I think the closest we ever got was some episodes of Loki, and then the Kenobi show was quite popular, although we never got any like official numbers released from Disney or anything like that, right? My point is, when The Boys is pulling like 20 million per, and House of the Dragon is pulling around that, and Last of Us potentially pulling that too, the studios like talk about that. They'll come out and say it because it's ridiculous, it's epic, and social proof continues to matter. You know, there's always this discussion in fandom. You know, if I bring up a Star Wars show like Skeleton Kids and talk about how nobody's watching it, the people that enjoy the show say, why does that matter? Well, frankly, it matters because if more people were watching it, that's social proof, and it actually makes people more apt to watch a thing. It's always it matters forever. It's just that if you like a thing and it's not popular, you always take the angle that the popularity does not mean it's bad, which is fine. But this does go a long way. So, as I predicted, I think Daredevil Born Again has, like, it's just got a lot going for it that could put it in contention, put it into the conversation with some of these biggest shows ever, which is ultimately a massive W for Marvel. I mean, what that means then, right, is you have the chance to bring a ton of more people just into the Marvel brand. And I think another strange example of like a way this is kind of currently happening already a little bit is with Marvel Rivals. Now, walk with me on this for just a moment, right? Marvel Rivals is an insanely popular video game. Probably has close to 30 million players total on it right now. It's dominating social media conversation. It's dominating gaming, streaming, etc. And I saw some people saying recently, and it's anecdotal, of course, but I saw a lot of people on the timeline say, Rivals is so big that it's bringing people into comic shops. And I got to be honest, I've fucking seen it, dude. I've seen it in the comic shop. I've also seen other streamers talking about it. It's really happening. Like, it's actually really happening that Rivals is so popular that a lot of people that were sort of aware of Marvel or whatever, they're going in and yeah, maybe they're looking for a Squirrel Girl comic or they're looking for the Jeff the Shark comic or whatever. But the point is, the more goodwill that like super breakout zeitgeist level things happen for Marvel, it's ultimately great for the brand, right? Daredevil, I think, is positioned to do this again and, you know, will weirdly enough be aided in that by Marvel rivals, especially if a Daredevil character drops there. But to just take like a big step back and kind of put an exclamation point on what my fucking point is here. The whole idea is Daredevil's poised to do big things. It getting its second season rolling, and us potentially being able to watch season 1 this year, season 2 next year. That's kind of unbelievable. That is absolutely massive for the brand. So if you're just a fan, kind of keeping score of how things are going, that's going pretty fucking well. And also, it's just hype to be able to get potentially the second season next year. And that would be, I mean, think about it this way. If that's like 4 months of coverage a year, that's 8 months in the next 24 months that will be dominated by coverage and conversation around Daredevil. And if it's really good, again, that's such a W. So just wanted to bring that up. Daredevil Born Again, second season shooting hella quick, even before the March 4th premiere of the show. Very exciting stuff. I want to know what you think about it. Let me know. What do you think, chat? Epic? Incredible? Awesome? Are you super excited? Hell yeah, man. I'm pumped. Let me see here. You know what? I don't actually have... Hang on. Let me get this going on here, because I kind of want to roll right into the next news bit here. But let me at least get... Oh, man. Just put that up there. That's fine. We'll talk about it like this. I'm psyched, man. Another season next year? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Super cute. Poke Bear, thank you for 12 months with Prime. God damn. All right, so let's just get right into the next one then, man. Now, this one's really interesting to me. A lot of angles on this one. Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, I got to do this. So, it came out over the weekend from My Time to Shine Hello that this friggin' guy, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, do you ever wonder how long he's going to be sticking around for? Do you ever wonder, are they going to recast a new Wolverine? Do you ever wonder about that? Guess what? No. Guess what? 10 years. Guess what? Forever. Till he's 90. Real shit. According to My Time to Shine Hello, the current plan for Hugh Jackman is to do another decade. Another 10 years as Wolverine. A lot to get into on this one. First of all, I got to do that thing again. I told you so. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I remember even before Deadpool and Wolverine came out, I told you guys, we did a video about it, we did a stream about it. I said, guess who's the new MC Wolverine? The old one. It's fucking Hugh Jackman. They want to keep him around forever. So once again, I was right. Maybe I was way too early, and people didn't believe me or actually care that much because I was way too early, but I was also dead ass right. Okay? Now, it's all rumors. They could change their mind, etc., right? But My Time to Shine, pretty reliable person, and a lot of people are talking about this on the timeline. Okay. So, first other different thing I want to say. It is technically possible that we get another Wolverine. You could potentially do a new young recast Wolverine, and you could do Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I gotta be honest, I highly doubt that is what's going to happen, but it is technically possible because, as My Time to Shine Hello points out in her story about this, Marvel wants a trilogy of Deadpool and Wolverine films, and technically you could have that separate from whatever they're doing with the reboot and, you know, X-Men in the current version of the MCU. Again, though, I really don't think so. Okay? Another reason that I don't think so is because of long-standing rumors that Wolverine will actually not be involved in the new MCU X-Men reboot, team, movies, whatever you want to say. This is likely because he will just be doing stuff with Deadpool. And because this new cast might be a lot of younger, newer faces, so they're just going to do their thing over there, and they're going to allow Hugh Jackman to be the Wolverine of the 616 MCU, but also do Deadpool stuff and hang out with Deadpool, okay? So I think this explains why there's no Wolverine in the new MCU reboot. That's a long-standing rumor as well, okay? Now, I know there's going to be a backlash, and I've seen a couple of you in chat, and I immediately stopped looking at chat because I'm not trying to get triggered today. But let me address you anyway. I know there are a lot of you that maybe don't like this, that maybe think it's time to move on, that maybe think he's lingering a little bit too much. What are we doing here? Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was fun, but another 10 years? He's been playing it for 50 years. What are we doing here? Well, allow me to educate you. Because the truth is, even though Hugh Jackman has been playing this role for 20 plus years, there are still an incredible amount of both Wolverine stories and X-Men stories that have not been adapted in any of these movies or shows. So, there's still a ton of fertile ground of storytelling to do with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, okay? Now, a little tease for you. I actually wrote and recorded a video earlier today. It's with my editor right now. And in the video, I go over 5 different awesome stories from comics that I think they should do with Hugh Jackman in the next 10 years. And you got to go watch that video because there's a lot of juicy stuff I put into it. I think it's a really fun video. You're going to like it. But the point is, there's a ton of stories that they could cover with him. And ultimately, like, even the MCU in general, right? Like, so Feige was quoted, it must have been early last year. He said something like he thought the Marvel Cinematic Universe could go for another 80 years. And everybody was like, what the fuck? And, like, went crazy. The point he was making is that they've barely scratched the surface of the catalog of not only incredible comic book stories, but incredible ideas from comics that could be adapted into live action in some way, shape, or form, okay? If you're a DC fan, this is part of the reason why you're so frustrated with DC, because it's almost like they keep rebooting Iron Man movies if Iron Man's Batman, and we can never get to Infinity War with that character in Batman because they keep rebooting him and doing, like, new versions. DC has incredible lore and comic book stories as well. I think that's part of the thing that Gunn is trying to tap into, right? Well, because Fox was handling a lot of Hugh Jackman stuff, it's very similar. There's a ton of ideas out there that are untapped, okay? So I think there's just a lot of stuff they could be telling, but let's be real. The biggest, most important one of those stories, the real reason he's sticking around for 10 more years, is undoubtedly Avengers versus X-Men. Undoubtedly. They want to build up Avengers versus X-Men. I mean, how many different times have we brought this up in videos and streams over the past month? There's a serious plan from Marvel Studios to establish conflict between the Avengers and X-Men in the next few years of the Multiverse Saga that will then lead into the soft rebooted version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the point is, and the big task at hand for Marvel is to properly set up Avengers versus X-Men, and you want the most popular X-Men that is played by the most popular actor to help to boost that idea, that sell to the fans. It's a big fucking deal. So I think this makes a lot of sense. As we've said, we reported on this in the past. And I think the challenge to Marvel, right? Because, you know, to take a step back, you know, this story and a lot of other Marvel stories like the RDJ Doctor Doom thing, a lot of things, it's being met with side eye and skepticism from Marvel fans. And I think that's just natural because you consider like where Marvel has been, there's been sort of a fall off, certain things have not worked. And then you hear stuff like this, or you hear like bringing RDJ back and stuff, and it can feel gimmicky. It can feel like corporate thinking of like reverse engineering how to keep people engaged in the property. And I'm sure there's some level of that is going on. But I would also say, as a fan, Hugh Jackman is fucking awesome as Wolverine. And we just saw last year in Deadpool and Wolverine that, like, not only can he still do it, he can do it better than ever. With the mask, the suit, the combat was fucking crazy. And some of the speeches he does, my God, man. Like, there's definitely a reason you pay him the big bucks. It was crazy impactful what they did in that film. And the plot of that movie was, like, super fucking loose. Like, that movie's not even, like, great. I'll be real. So, I think there's plenty of story to be told. I think Hugh Jackman is just, he has such a hold of this character. It's like, I want to see him experience some of these other things. I want to see him in an Avengers vs. X-Men thing. I want to see him in some of the stories that I put into the video later today, because there's interesting stuff that has happened with the mutants. And it would be really cool to sort of attach ourselves as the viewer to Hugh Jackman Wolverine as you're watching this shit go down. So I think this is a big deal. I don't know how surprising it is to everybody. Like, I did see some people on our Discord being like, wow, I actually can't believe you were right about this, Josh. I don't know about this. And I get that attitude, but I do think this is a W. And I think it's a good move. And I can also see how some of the pieces are fitting together. And, you know, when it comes time, because I think you're getting a lot more Hugh Jackman in Secret Wars. Spinning out of that into the soft reboot, it's going to be really interesting to see what does Hugh Jackman's role in this mutant saga thing actually look like. And, you know, we're going to talk about Annihilus in a little bit. I mean, is Hugh Jackman Wolverine going to be doing some real crazy cosmic level shit too? I think that would be cool as well. So overall, guys, pretty crazy story. Hugh Jackman Wolverine for 10 more years. A trilogy of Deadpool and Wolverine movies. Would love to know what you think about this. Let me know your thoughts. Is it too much? Is it just right? Are you on the fence? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Fearsome Halo 6 says, people telling to move on from Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but those same people can't move on from Steve being Captain America. Oh, that's kind of an interesting point. Yeah, I don't know if those are exactly the same groups, but yeah, I'm sure there's some people that are doing the same thing. Got nothing to say. Mouth. I know, right? Fire, bro. Wolverine versus Hulk would be insane. I like Cavill as Wolverine. I think Cavill is going to be in the MCU, probably as like Captain Britain, I'll be real. But everything I just said totally stands for Wolverine. And I like the Wolverine, but yeah, no, I'm just far more excited by the prospects of like more Hugh Jackman, what they can do with that. I think it's a lot better. Jackman Forever. Thought someone said this was false. I'm sure someone did say it was false. A lot of people say a lot of things, brother. But again, I don't just ass pull. I've been reporting on this studio for 7+ years. I'm talking about vetted insiders and corroborating reports that I heard years ago. But I'm sure somebody said it was fake, though. 100%. I think it makes absolute sense. These actors/characters will grow as we do. It's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, you know, Wolverine as a character is supposed to look old. He's hundreds of years old by the time he is recruited in the X-Men, right? So his age is actually not a super big factor. In fact, looking back at X-Men, the first one, he looks super out of place in that movie. Because in the first X-Men movie, he just looks like a tall Australian dude that's kind of built. And the performance is good, but he doesn't even look like Wolverine. He looks more like Wolverine now than he ever did. Right? So, I think it works. We love Hugh, but 10 years, we don't need him past Secret Wars. I understand that idea. So what you're saying then is you just want a brand new Wolverine? Brand new Wolverine? I don't know. I mean, again, I feel the way I feel about it. I don't really want a new Wolverine. I also kind of think, like, I don't know if this is too crazy of an idea, but this 10-year thing is pretty interesting. It almost makes me feel like they'll reboot the MCU again in 10 years, which I think would be a good move. Like, just in general, if they had 10-year chunks of the MCU and then rebooted or shook it up somehow, like a soft reboot or a hard reboot, I kind of think that's like a smart move. You know? But this first soft reboot of the MCU is going to show us a lot. And it will also show Marvel, like, what works, what doesn't work. You know, they're kind of like an evolving studio. Would you say Wolverine's age is an X factor? I wouldn't say that. I guess I would say that. It's a good dad joke. I'm not going to lie. By the way, Rossi, I hope you survive. If you guys didn't know, Rossi's going through it right now. They had to, like, slice into one of his legs and something to do with his head, and he had to bleed out or something. I don't know what's going on. He's got some legion, something. Said his wiener felt weird. That's it. He actually said that. I'm not making it up. Like, I hope he's okay. Why would they cast Sadie Sink if they kept Hugh? Well, I think two reasons. Number one, they are keeping Wolverine a bit separate, okay? Now, I will admit that the young Sadie Sink and Wolverine being Hugh Jackman is a little, it seems problematic on the surface, right? But, I mean, again, in comics, like, she is that young and he is hundreds of years old when they first meet each other and stuff. So I wonder how they will square that circle. But I actually have a theory that's so fucking bananas. I think I'm going to put a full video together. It has to do with Krakoa. And I wonder if Feige's cooking something really weird with the new X-Men that might explain that exact situation with Jean and Wolverine. But I want to keep that. I want to keep that a secret. I'll put it into a video. Maybe some of you guys are kind of figuring it out as I'm saying it. But yeah, I mean, I think they want to bring in some new X-Men faces. I think they want to maybe hold on to some old X-Men faces. I suppose the multiverse could still exist after Secret Wars. And maybe Deadpool and Wolverine is doing their thing outside of the main Marvel universe. But the reason I kind of don't believe that is, like, the whole point of Deadpool and Wolverine was him coming to Marvel. Right? He's like, suck it, Fox. Like, you know, I'm going to Disney. Like, he's literally in Marvel now. And part of the whole idea of it was bringing him into the sacred timeline. So if the soft reboot puts Wade and Hugh into the 616, I think that's where you take their story. I think there's a lot of fertile ground for storytelling there. Yeah. I always thought it would be easier to recast Wolverine than Iron Man, but that all might change with Doomsday. Yeah, between Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think we're going to have a better idea of, like, what this soft reboot actually will be like. Because I don't know if they're going to recast, like, Iron Man. I don't know if they're going to cast Steve Rogers. I guess they could, right? But yeah. But at the end of the movie, aren't they in 616? So they are not in 616. That we know for sure. They are in Wade's universe, where he sells used cars, where Vanessa is at, where the first Deadpool movies take place, and all of that. They are on Wade's universe. Now, some people speculate that Wade's universe is the same universe as the one that we see Beast in the post-credit scene of the Marvels, I think, which is denoted as Universe 10005. So yeah, maybe that's important. Not really sure, but they are definitely not in 616 at the end of that movie. Matt Spiro says, isn't saying a reboot every 10 years for Marvel the same thing you said with the problem with DC and Batman is? How could it be good? Well, there is certainly part of that problem. And yeah, maybe that is true. Maybe if you reboot every 10 years, it's, you can't get to some of the juicy stories. I would say the difference between Marvel and DC is that Marvel's already gotten to some of these crazy stories. Like, we've already seen Tony Stark arc out over 10 years, become the guy that is literally stealing Infinity Stones and snapping and shit. And Batman just keeps having to watch his parents get murdered in the alley and is depressed for a couple of years. So it's not an equivalent example. It does potentially stop Marvel from taking those arcs and characters even further. But I guess, like, the main point is DC and Marvel have kind of different problems in that regard. Now, Hugh Jackman, ironically, being stuck at Fox, he didn't have an incredible arc either. Now, Logan is an incredible ending. Logan takes a lot of that stuff and runs with it. But Logan's arc throughout the Fox movies is like unfucking comprehensible. And it doesn't really make sense. Like, how is he different? Like, what has happened to him? Like, how has he changed? They haven't really established that. I think the fact that we're getting 10 more years with Hugh Jackman Wolverine likely means we're getting 10 more years of the variant from Deadpool and Wolverine. And that guy's still at a pretty low point. He had a big heroic moment at the end of the film, saving the universe, etc. But he has a lot of growth as a character left. So you could do that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like sold either way. I just kind of like the freshness of the reboot. And I guess what I'm saying ultimately is like, yo, if this soft reboot's really successful, and if part of that success comes from us being engaged in like, oh, this is what the new version of the Baxter Building looks like, or like, oh shit, like this is the X-Men in this version of Marvel. That was something that was really fun in the MCU initially. Like, I remember going to watch a lot of the early Phase 1, Phase 2 Marvel movies, and there was a sense of like, as a comic fan, trying to interpret and sort of learn about what the MCU version of these things that I was already familiar with would actually be like. For me, that's fun. If a reboot can reestablish that and we're just like checked into the newest version, like a great example is two of the hottest comics out right now are Absolute Batman and Ultimate Spider-Man. And the Ultimate Universe and the Absolute Universe for DC, these are reboots, or I guess branch universes. But they've taken all these familiar Marvel elements and twisted them up, spun them in a really interesting way. And as a fan that's been reading comics for years, that's really engaging. So if there's a way to tap into that energy every decade for Marvel, I don't think it's a bad strategy. It might not, I don't know, they might not do it, but it's kind of, I think it could work. I think it could work. She could be a reborn Jean with a younger body and the mind of an adult. Yeah, something like that. Something like that could be pretty wild, huh? Wouldn't that be crazy? I don't know. Could be crazy. There will be 2 Wolverines in Secret Wars from the Fox universe now. Deadpool's Logan hasn't died yet. Yeah, that's true. I've heard a lot of people speculate about how that's happening or what is happening there. I think some people have said that like the branch timeline becomes the main timeline and now Logan is like an offshoot timeline. I mean, that just feels like fans making sense of it, but it does kind of make sense. So yeah, I don't know. There could be 2 Logans over there, right? There could be 2 Logans there. I don't know. Pretty crazy stuff. John Cross says, I have a Superman theory that angry Cal in the trailer next to Pac is actually Ultraman sent to kill him, but has memories of feelings of Cal, so he might have a slight internal conflict about killing him. I mean, that would be fucking nuts, dude. I don't know. You think Gunn would really do that? You think Gunn would really do that shit? I don't know, Bella. That seems wild to me. That seems wild to me. Okay. Couple other things to get into, chat, and then we're gonna call it. Like I said, a quick one today. I know everybody wants to go watch the inauguration and all that. We have a strict no politics rule here, so if you utter anything even remotely political, I will ban you permanently. I might even come find you. But I also recognize that it is an important day for a lot of people. And so, yeah, we'll try to be lax on the rules and everything. But we are just going to get out of here soon. Okay, so I want to touch on this. I think it's quite interesting. We need to talk about Captain America, Brave New World. It's coming out very soon. A lot of us are super curious. We had those pre-sale tickets go on sale on Friday. How well's the movie doing? Okay. Luis Fernando here, good analyst, says, and yeah, Captain America Brave New World had its pre-sales kick off Friday at the U.S. box office. After 2 days of pre-sales, although nowhere near Quantumania, which opened on the same weekend in 2023, Captain America Brave New World is currently doing 1.4 times better than the Marvels, that doesn't seem good, and Joker Folie à Deux, on par with the Eternals, and not that far from Black Widow and Dune Part 2 after its first 2 day of pre-sales. Keeping the same pacing in relation to the other films, Captain America could be securing a 3-day opening weekend above Thor and the first Captain America movie. And could even challenge Shang-Chi's 3-day opening, which was higher than Eternals thanks to positive word of mouth on Labor Day holiday boost. Similar to what happened to Captain America 4, will also benefit specifically on Sunday? Okay. But Captain America has an advantage none of those films had. It's coming out right after Deadpool and Wolverine. No, it isn't. Which certainly brought the MCU back to several casuals' radar. And that alone could help Cap 4 actively stronger walk-ups its comps ever before. Captain America debuts on February 14th. Okay. So, I guess let me know in the chat, and also let me know in the comment section if you're watching this on the Clips channel. Does that seem good to you? Like, before I get into my analysis, like, does that seem good to you? You let me know. I don't know, man. 1.4 times better than the biggest bomb in the history of Hollywood, the Marvels, and 1.4 times better than Joker Folie à Deux, which foiled a fuckload of box office right into the trash because that movie was also an incredible bomb, the likes of which we have not seen in a long time. On par with Eternals, which is so bad, Chloe Zhao is no longer going to come back and do any Eternal stuff. It's been 5 years since we've seen Tiamat pop out. Like, what are we doing here? Black Widow, the movie that did so poorly that ScarJo sued motherfuckers. And then Dune Part 2. What the hell's going on with Dune Part 2? Because that movie actually did well as far as I know. We're talking about this thing securing a 3-day opening that's on par with Phase 1 movies. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I don't think this is good. I don't think this is good. I think this is bad. I don't think the movie will necessarily bomb because it's doing 1.4 better than the last two massive bombs in this genre, right? And to give credit, right? To give credit where credit is due here, I will say that although I don't like the characterization of it coming out right after Deadpool and Wolverine, because we had two Sony bombs come out after that, I do agree that this movie is a little bit better positioned because of Deadpool and Wolverine, and also RTJ as Doctor Doom, and just a generally more accepting feeling of Marvel casuals maybe being checked in a little bit more. Daredevil trailer maybe goes a long way to do that as well. But overall, I mean, I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer here, but these numbers seem really sad to me, especially considering the marketing this movie has gotten. I know there's some debate about this. I've seen people out there say that it's not getting marketing love, or that like the trailers have been redundant or whatever. I see the marketing for this movie everywhere. I think they're giving this movie an incredible marketing push. I think Mackie himself has been pushed a lot internationally, a lot of international marketing, and a lot of like going on stage at Comic-Cons and D23 here, D23 there, etc., etc. I don't know. I mean, for me, I didn't even secure my tickets yet. I guess I would be considered walk-up business, but that's also partially because, like, I see the first showing on Thursday, and there's just not a lot of people that go to that first showing, right? I wonder if there's maybe just a large amount of fans that feel the same, that are kind of like, oh, I will see that opening weekend, maybe even opening day, but I'm not so excited about it that I want to get the best seats, that I want to do the pre-sales, etc. But yeah, I mean, overall, if I were Marvel Studios, I would kind of be concerned about this, and we'll continue to watch how the tracking evolves as we get closer to it. But the thing that sucks about it, right, is like, I mean, if this thing bombs, just you got to move on from Sam as Cap, like, and that feels so. It doesn't feel like he got a fair shot or a fair shake, but it's show business. It's not show friends. Like, if Mackie just can't open a solo Cap movie, then it's Jover. Especially if you've got Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk, dude. You've got Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk, and you're coming in at 1.4 better than the Marvels and Joker Folia do. It's yet to be determined how this will actually look like in the box office. But man, if this thing doesn't get to 500, 600, 700 million, Mackie cannot open a film. You cannot do another Captain America with him. You just can't. Now, I kind of wonder if Marvel's sitting back and watching this develop, and I wonder if they are thinking, within the context of the soft reboot, oh man, maybe we do need a new Steve Rogers. Maybe we do need to reset things, or possibly give the shield to Bucky. You know, Sebastian Stan has talked about publicly wanting the shield, wanting to continue to do stuff with Marvel. And again, it's nothing against, you know, Mackie or the character specifically or whatever. But the sidekick of Cap in the modern era will never be as interesting as his best friend from the war when they fought against Nazis and he was supposedly dead and taken by scientists and made into an assassin. That you will never have something as compelling as that with Sam Wilson. They appear to have tried a ton of different things to kind of amp this movie up and get it juiced up. If this shit don't work, man, it's a wrap. Like, I think, for Mackie as Captain America. I'm really curious as to what you guys think about this, though. Like, do you think so, too? Or do you think at this point Marvel's pot committed, and they're just going to keep doing Sam as Cap, even if this movie bombs? I think that would be a terrible, terrible idea. And I do think we're kind of in the era of Marvel actually listening to the fans and being more receptive. So I think it could be Jover. These numbers do not look great. What do you guys think? Let me know. Chat. What do you think? What do you think? The public in the MCU would definitely get behind Winter Soldier being Cap. Oh, 100% they would. I guarantee I would put large amounts of money that if they made Bucky into Cap, people would check in. People would watch that. I mean, it absolutely happened in the comics. So there's like a precedence for Bucky Cap in the comics. And part of the intrigue was that, like, how could this guy be Captain America? You know what I mean? Like, that's part of the intrigue. Like, he's a murderer. He was an assassin. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think so. 450 million worldwide. I think that would be terrible. I mean, for me, dude, if this movie needs a 5, 6, 7 in front of it. And we're not even talking about profit, because I'm pretty sure this movie cannot be profitable unless it crosses the $1 billion mark. I'm talking about a respectable box office. A respectable box office. I like Sam. I don't mind Sam. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily have strong feelings one way or the other on Sam. it's Marvel's job to get me to like root for him as Cap, be excited to see him, etc. Like Marvel could have fumbled Steve Rogers too. It's not just because you have like the blueprint of an incredible character from comics automatically makes it a success. They could have fumbled Steve Rogers. And in fact, a lot of people like that first Cap movie, it didn't really do that well. I love it, but it wasn't until the Russos did like the more modern take on Cap and really juxtaposed his like old school mentalities with like the morally gray reality of like the modern world. That was the juice that really hit for people, and modern action, etc. Right? But yeah, I don't have any problem with Sam. I'm not one of these like, that's not Captain America guys. I'm more like, what did you guys do to make me like this character? Because it doesn't feel like anything has really happened. You know, a really lackluster show. Years and years later, we get the sequel. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the creative choices that Marvel made with Sam feel weird to me. Like, why does he go from literally being the biggest Captain America fan ever, being the best friend of Steve, standing by him in Civil War, absolutely loving this man, to wanting to completely differentiate himself and not be like Steve at all? Like, that just feels weird and inorganic. So they've done some weird stuff with Sam that has kind of turned me off. And then overall, like, the show's just fucking bland. And then for the bland-ass show to end with him sympathizing with the terrorists and scolding the senators because they created a world in which young girls have to become terrorists, it's like so stupid. I really didn't like it. So, I don't know. I don't have anything against Sam, but I think if this movie bombs, you can't continue with him. Like, you literally can't. Like, what do you want them to do? You want them to make money-losing, brand-hurting movies over and over again? They can't do that. C Black says, I'm not happy with the hate at Sam before the movie is released. Dude, that is totally a fair point. But I'm not one of those guys. I'm not hating on Sam. I'm pointing out a difficult, maybe harsh reality, but no hate on Sam whatsoever. He has to perform, though. Like, that just, it has to perform. Joey says, also, someone with a super soldier serum should be Captain America in the MCU. That opens the door to more possibilities for the character, in my opinion. 4 years, nerd vengeance. God damn. Much love. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. I don't know that I agree with that take either. I mean, you know, if that's something that matters to you, all good. For me, I don't really need a super soldier. I just need a good character, intriguing. Would prefer somebody that really loved and respected the legacy of Steve Rogers. But yeah, I don't think they need the super soldier serum. I mean, I think most of the Caps in the comics have had it. Sam is the exception to that. But yeah, I don't think you need it. Yeah. I think they just need to do better, Senator, you know? I was disappointed at the end of Endgame when Bucky didn't get the shield. Yeah. I mean, again, it's nothing against Sam. It's just you're never going to compete with how interesting that is. At least not conventionally. Like, you'd have to think outside the box. Like, being best friends in the 40s, fighting against the Nazis and Hydra together, being captured, being twisted and turned into a weapon, and then that being revealed much later in life, and then Steve and Sam going on like a 2-year journey to try to figure this dude out, and then all of a sudden he gets framed for the bomb. I mean, like, what the fuck did Sam do? I do what he does, but slower? Come on, man. That's never going to compare. It's not interesting. It's not as cool. And Sam was cool as the sort of backup wingman guy. I loved that energy for him. I thought it was really interesting, but it's not even close to as interesting as what they have with Bucky and what they have with Steve. You know, like, it's just, there's a reason that shit resonated. There's a reason Captain America persisted for 60, 70 plus years and then was eventually adapted as one of the first MCU movies. There's even a reason that Sam takes up the mantle. It all has to do with Steve. It is literally all because of a character. And this wasn't a Stan Lee character, by the way. Captain America was a little Jack Kirby, and then I forget the other guy. I forget the other guy that helped create him. But it wasn't a Stan Lee character. Nerds Engage says, what would Sam have to say or do in order for you to go, okay, that's Captain America? No, you're missing the point. He is Captain America, but the thing is, he's Captain America just because they made him Captain America. I'm literally not the guy saying he's not Captain America. Your question should be, what would make Sam interesting? There are all kinds of stories, man. All sorts of things that they could do with Sam. I mean, here's a wild idea. What if Sam Wilson was sent back in time to the era of the Nazis and to Bucky and all of that shit? What if Sam Wilson had to actually pick up from where Steve Rogers left off with the crazy ass time travel thing? Just one example. What if Sam Wilson was given what's the serum? Not the Extremis. What if Sam Wilson is given like a version of Extremis? You know what I mean? And then like had to deal with that. Like, you have to build up something interesting that gives the character like cachet and respect. And Sam has to like overcome like real crazy obstacles and end up just being super heroic, right? Yeah, so there's all sorts of ways that they could do that. But frankly, what they have done with him is just really not that interesting. You know? And also too, like, hey, here's a thought. It's okay that the Falcon character from comics is just not that interesting. I mean, if you're looking for like a black male lead, I don't know, T'Challa, Bishop, you know, even Dr. Voodoo. Fuck, Luke Cage, man. Like, there's awesome black characters that are actually interesting. You know, Sam's just not really one of them. And especially not the version in the MCU. Like, it's just weird, like the shit they've done with them, you know, in my opinion. But anyway, I want to get off the topic of Sam Wilson. Joshua says, I'm not saying it will happen, but if Cho or Banner shows up to subdue Red Hulk, this movie could pop off. Yeah, I do wonder about that. They're certainly setting up some Hulk stuff in the film. But, you know, frankly, if Red Hulk on the fucking posters as Harrison Ford isn't enough to get it to pop off, I don't know if like a Cho or cardigan wearing Hulk, I don't know if that's actually going to help. Like, you're kind of missing the fact that they have Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. That is a huge deal. And yet it's, you know, currently not seeming to help it out that much. C Black says, all I see is negative videos on my YouTube feed. This is affecting the interest. Nobody's seen the movie. Okay, so let's go with that train of thought. So what you're saying is there's just a ton of negativity towards Sam, and that's affecting the movie. So if you're Marvel Studios and you see that, what's your solution? Because you can't change how the fans feel. You could try. Maybe you could earn it. Like, there are examples of that in history. Like, Ahsoka's an interesting example. When Ahsoka first came onto the scene, people hated her, dude. People were like, this bitch, she's annoying. Snips, the fuck out of here. Darth Vader doesn't have an apprentice. Fuck you, Dave. Fuck you, George, right? And then years later, we're like, dude, Ahsoka, she earned it. So maybe they could earn it with Sam. Or you look at what's going on with the fan base and you say, yeah, this probably isn't the best place to put our resources with a character that seems to be very divisive, and the discourse around is affecting the box office of the film. That's what you're saying. So if you're Marvel Studios, like, either way you slice it, like, you can't keep doing this if it's not working. You know what I mean? Filmism says, hey, broski, I made something crazy special for you regarding Secret Wars. Can I email it to you? Thanks. Been a fan of yours for years, and I always have you on the screen at Dr. Dre's studio. Yeah, that's super cool. Wait, what? The Dr. Dre? Yeah, you can email it to me. My email is thedenofnerds@gmail.com. You can also hit me up on Twitter or Discord. Those DMs are a good way to get in touch with me. For sure. Okay, so that's the bit about Brave New World. One more story, guys, and then we're going to get out of here because I actually think this is super cool. So, we have some rumors out there about the Annihilation Saga. Okay? Now, this is an article that was written today from Charles Murphy, but he references an article that he wrote all the way back in 2023. So let's first read through the new article, and then let's talk about Annihilus potentially as the big bad, okay? So it says here, newly greenlit Marvel television series may feature a surprising star. Marvel Studios may not continue releasing live-action streaming projects at the same rate they will in 2025, but that doesn't mean they've slowed down the development process. Outside of Nova, which was confirmed by Marvel Television's head honcho Brad Winderbaum to be in development, the studio has been tight-lipped about which projects are in the works. Rumors and reports persist that Champions, which will bring together a new generation of heroes led by Kamala Khan and Strange Academy, a Harry Potter-esque series featuring young magic users, are priorities at the studio despite lack of official word from Marvel. According to social media scooper My Time to Shine Hello Wong, the MCU's current Sorcerer Supreme will serve as the star of Strange Academy. That could actually be kind of interesting. Though the Sorcerer Supreme has proven himself, having Benedict Wong as the lead would certainly seem to indicate the studio sees Strange Academy as somewhat of a lighthearted adventure. Despite facing off the Scarlet Witch and her demonic minions, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wong has far more often served as comedic relief. And while the series would feature a fairly large cast of kids and other potential for cameos from other MCU magic users, it would also allow for the return of Madison King, Wong's bestie, last seen in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Boo. Okay, so this isn't actually the Annihilus piece, but I will say the fact that Wong could potentially be the lead or one of the key characters of Strange Academy is interesting because we just talked about this like last week, and I said, look, this next batch of Marvel shows is going to be really telling. Are we getting Daredevil level productions with all of these things? Are we truly past the MCU Phase 4 mentality? And Wong starring in the Strange Academy thing, making it a Harry Potter-esque show? That is kind of interesting, okay? But now let's get into the Annihilus stuff because what the fuck was that? Now, I suppose, because I saw this on Twitter and he linked to this article. The truth is this comes from a report from Daniel RPK over the weekend. Over the weekend, Daniel said that Annihilus will show up in several Marvel projects. So he will not just be a one and done in the Nova show. And there's huge rumors out there right now for the Nova show. Seems crazy what they're going to do with Annihilus. But he's going to be in multiple projects. Okay? And in a response to that news from Daniel, Charles Murphy shared this article that he wrote in 2023, 2 years ago. Marvel Studios is only 1/3 of the way through its Multiverse Saga. And with the onset of Phase 5, fans will soon learn the true nature of the saga's big bad. Though the Multiverse Saga won't wrap up for another few years, Disney has already planted flags for 4 post-Secret Wars theatrical projects, meaning, to nobody's surprise, that they plan to continue phasing and sagaing beyond the Multiverse Saga. Whatever the new saga holds, it will ultimately have to culminate in a major event worthy of drawing heroes from every corner of the universe to help save the day. And while any number of comic book events could be adapted to provide such a threat, an epic multi-event run from the late 2000s and early 2010s might not only be the best, but also already in the early stages of being established in the MCU. It's possible that Marvel Studios could be teeing up Phase 7 and 9 to become the MCU's Annihilation Saga. I mean, that's pretty cool to say. Try it at home. Just put it in your mouth and see how it feels in there. Annihilation Saga. Oh, man, that's so nice. Say it one more time. Annihilation Saga. Much like the Infinity Saga and the Multiverse Saga, the Annihilation Saga wouldn't be a direct adaptation of one of Marvel Comics' major events or any particular run, but rather inspired by several different runs and centered on a threat worthy of large-scale team-up films on the level of Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, Avengers the Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. And while there's no shortage of threats, one might be closer to making his way to the MCU than the rest. Annihilus. Originally introduced as a Fantastic Four villain, Annihilus has grown in power over the years and has become a threat to the existence of the entire universe. A ruler of a pocket dimension known as the Negative Zone. Annihilus, with the power gifted to him by wielding the Cosmic Control Rod, set his sights on conquering Earth and the entire positive galaxy. Thus, in 2006, Annihilus was the main antagonist in a cosmic crossover event called Annihilation, in which he led his annihilation wave out of the Negative Zone and wreaked havoc on the galaxy as he attempted to extinguish all life within it. Should the MCU wish to make the living dead that walk the main antagonist of the next saga, Annihilation would be the cornerstone content for it. However, a significant amount of groundwork would need to be done ahead of time, and it looks like Marvel may already be pouring the foundation. So they're talking about potentially Fantastic Four, Galactus and his heralds. Well, this is kind of interesting. A Silver Surfer solo project is heavily rumored to be headed to Disney Plus at some point in the Multiverse Saga. And while the Sentinel of Spaceways would certainly be a major player in the Annihilation Saga, his master and the horde of heralds who serve him over the centuries were a major part of the Annihilation event. As Annihilus coveted the power cosmic, rumor of Galactus' presence in 2025's Fantastic Four have recently heated up, and it's been said that the Silver Surfer project would stem prior to Galactus' appearance. Marvel Studios could use that solo project as a way to deliver the rich and complex history of the mythology of Galactus and his heralds, which could, turn into something with Annihilus. Now, this one's kind of interesting. 2 years ago, Charles Murphy speculated that Nova could be the way to go. There was no greater hero in the war against Annihilation Wave than Richard Rider, and it was Rider who ultimately ended the war by killing Annihilus. Xandar, the home to the Nova Corps, was one of the first planets to fall from the Annihilation Wave. Rider survived and allowed the Xandarian world mind to merge with him while also agreeing to host the entirety of the Nova Force. With the help of many friends and heroes, Rider formed the United Front, which brought members of some of the galaxy's fiercest civilizations together to fight against the Bug King. Though it's currently unclear what format it will ultimately take, a solo Nova project is in the works at Marvel Studios, which means Rider could be introduced as and set up just in time for Annihilus to give him the push he needs to become Marvel's greatest cosmic hero. Now, let's just stop there because that is what the current rumor is, okay? So, the Annihilus, big deal, a lot of buzz about him for years, kind of interesting to see what Charles Murphy was saying about him 2 years ago. Current rumors that he will be the main villain of the Nova show, which is going to star Richard Rider, okay? And then, after that, multiple other projects with Annihilus and potentially the Nova show. Maybe it gets multiple seasons, or maybe Nova then joins up with other people in some sort of cosmic movie that might push us towards more Annihilus. So maybe the initial wave is sort of thwarted by Richard Rider, and then you get more Annihilus stuff after that. Either way, I am actually getting excited, and stop me if you've heard this one before. I'm getting excited about this next batch of Marvel content. The Nova show, even Champions, even Strange Academy, Daredevil Season 2, Punisher stuff. I'm legitimately getting excited because I really feel like we could be back. Like we could be back on track and getting some incredible stuff. But then the question becomes, will the Nova show be a good enough place to establish the new big bad for all of the next saga. Would you be okay with that? It's a little bit like Kang and Loki. Hopefully, cooler. And what do you think of Annihilus being the big bad of the mutant, maybe Annihilation Saga? What do you think? Let me know. And we'll end on this one, and then we'll catch up on some chats. We'll hang out for a couple of minutes, and then we'll get on out of here. But I am excited. I mean, again, a lot of this stuff's really cool, man. Like, it is super cool. Annihilus is great. Even Wong in Strange Academy could be great. So yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think, chat? Hey, who you calling a Richard Rider? Not you, man. I would never do that. I wouldn't do that to you. Okay, just be honest, chat. Is everybody just watching the inauguration? Are you guys even paying attention to me anymore? Hello? Hello? The problem with the Red Hulk is that he's a Hulk villain, not a Cap villain. That smacked my head. I want to see a Green Hulk, and it could make Banner's Hulk snap. That's true. That's true. Fair point. Bro, that's what she said. Wait, what? Okay, read that. Dart Boyd says, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Logan usually remember the old universe from before in comic stories? House of M, for example. Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds carrying over the rebooted universe could make sense. Yeah, so I believe he does in House of M, and I think he also does in Secret Wars, the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars. There's an old man Logan that actually remembers the universe before the Doom created Battleworld. Nobody else does. It's so weird. I have no idea why Logan remembers, to be honest. It could just be like his healing factor or something. But yeah, I think that would be true and potentially great. Let's see here. Zach gifted 5 memberships. Appreciate you. Sam the Smith says, thank you, Josh, for the stream. Tell Chillin' to chill on the policing and threats. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I'm sure you deserved it. Zach says, almost 1 year Nerdvention, baby. What an amazing 11 months it has been. Josh is the GOAT, and the Nerdvengers are also goated. Much love, everyone. I'll catch this after work. Appreciate you, brother. Hope work was good for you by the time you see this. Chillin' says, 28 months, Nerdvention, creeping up on that shiniest of badges. This has been the dopest community and helped me to form one of my own. Thanks for all the fun. Take my money. Unity, Nerdvengers for life. Appreciate you, brother. When is the Diamond Lounge rescheduled for? We'll do it Friday, 7:30? Question mark? Finto, 45 big ones. Wait, you're 45 months. Happy New Year. Congrats on the daughter. Killing it in the gym. All we need is unity in 2025 and life is good. Take my money, Nerdvengers for life. Yeah, I'm hoping to check in with the team today and see where the progress is at. But yeah, no, dude, unity in 2025. I want to say I guarantee it, but I also don't want to say that because there's been so much bullshit that has happened. But I guarantee you it will come out. Moose says, thank you, Josh, for saving my soul and making me a better Nerdvenger every day. Hail the Emperor. I don't know what that means, but you're welcome. Jared says, new year, new Josh for as long as TikTok was banned. Not bad. Not bad, Jareth. Not bad, brother. That's a good one there. Let's see here. Joshua says, when you said put it in your mouth. Oh, Jesus. Randon Loomer, welcome back to the Nerdvengers at the prime level, man. Appreciate you. You missed my super chat early. I think I just got it, brother. Charlie says, not crazy about Wong-led show. Why not Strange? Why not Strange and Wong? It's like a Batman show without Batman. Spidey movie without Spidey. I don't know. I like Wong, man. You know, I like Wong. I like Benedict Wong. Jesus. And I like Cumberbatch as well, but I think, you know, the truth is, it seems like Cumberbatch is going to have a lot to do in the next couple of years. I mean, between Doomsday Secret Wars and potentially Doc Strange 3, Cumberbatch's got a lot going on. So I think it kind of makes sense to do something with Wong, perhaps building up a new group of, sorcerers. Bobby Jackson says, did you discuss the Star Wars news Harloff dropped this morning? I did not. Can anybody tell me what it is and I can comment on it? I will be honest, though. What's a Star Wars? Rossi says, deep dive on Annihilus? I know nothing about him. Yeah, we could do that, brother. We could definitely do that. I think what we would want to do is deep dive on the Annihilation wave and that whole time in comics, which we could absolutely do. That would be cool. Prez says, yo, right back at you, brother. Right back at you. Doc Strange is simply not a TV show character. Marvel wouldn't add him to TV for more than a cameo. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You're saying Daredevil is, though? Daredevil was a movie person before they made that show. I don't know. Natalie Portman to return for Ahsoka Season 2. I mean, look, that is cool, and I am excited of Ahsoka Season 2. Ahsoka Season 2 is probably the only thing Star Wars right now that I'm quite thrilled about. Padme back? Hell yeah. Is this some trickery from Abeloth? Is this some visions via, Mortis gods, or perhaps Anakin as the father? Not really sure, but yeah, I'm down. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I missed the stream. What did you miss? Oh, dude, loaded stream. Loaded today. Absolutely jam-packed and fucking loaded. You're going to have to watch it from the replay or watch the clips later. All right, everybody. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. Big video dropping later today. Tons of streams throughout the week. A lot of nerd venging to get into. But I am going to get out of here. Quicker stream today, but I think with the inauguration... and, just some other stuff going on, I think people's attention is a little divided, and I totally get it. We will be back at it tomorrow and throughout the week, streaming here at 11 a.m., breaking down the daily nerdy news with you all. I appreciate you. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. Holy shit, dude. That alert was so fucking loud. Oh my God. Thoughts and prayers to Rossi's neck and his wiener. Yeah, definitely agree. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? another happy landing. That was a jam-packed hour, man. We got a lot out there, man. A lot of news, a lot of takes, a lot of juiciness. Appreciate y'all, man. Wild times out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember. What the fuck? My wiener will be resurrected. Hymns code Razi. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, remember. Open up your third eye and wash out your stinky butthole. And honestly, Rossi, you better wash out like everything, man. I don't know what's going on there, but you need to wash it out. You know, you need to take some vitamin C or something. Try some shungite. Fucking, I don't know, brother. All right.